we're good. Hi guys, it's Nikki Hancock again, and it is Monday, the day after Easter. We're having a beautiful day here. We had a beautiful weekend, but it looks even warmer today, so I am happy. I've been wanting the sunshine to come out. We finally got it. This morning I had a conference call that I promised everybody I would update after. And so this video is to kind of let you know everything we went over with the SBDC, which is the Small Business Development Center out of Butte College. And they are an SBA program, and they are operated by grants. So they exist just to help small businesses get funded, and stay in business. And a big part of what they do is helping us apply for relief during a disaster. So real quick before I get into the conference call that I had, I did want to apologize because I've been feeling really awful that I feel like I misled some people about the self-employed unemployment program. I kept saying that it's not up and running yet, and then a fellow business owner said that I was wrong, that it is, here you go, apply here, and that they had applied, so I told everyone, oh, it is up and running. It is still not up and running, so I even just checked back today, and they still do not, for California, have the unemployment self-employed system set up for us yet. Now, I personally think if you already applied, that's fine. Either you're going to get denied because the system wasn't set up and then you reapply for the new system, or at least you're already in the system and hopefully there'll be a way to kind of transfer things into the new programs. To recap, in case you've missed all my other videos, the economic stimulus package that was passed gives unemployed independent contractors and gig workers $600 a week plus half the state average for unemployment benefits. So for California, equals out to about $750 a week for us. That is one option, and I highly encourage you to apply for it. The other options are the government-backed loans, and I encourage you to apply for those too. Can you use it all? No. You can apply for it all, and then you want to decide which thing is going to benefit you the most and take that. You can take unemployment, but if you get these loans, you can't also draw the unemployment. You'll need to cancel it at that point. But like I have said, apply for it all. There's so many weird loopholes and different cracks you could slip through in gray areas that, to me, the smartest thing is to apply for it all. If you get it all, awesome. You can pick which thing is going to benefit your business and your home the most, but at least you have options, and don't just wait for each thing. These are all such long processes. You should apply for everything you can, and then at least the process is going. So if you apply for one thing and then wait to hear back, it could be 6 weeks. By then you're in big trouble financially. So anyway, that was my quick update on unemployment. I'm sorry that I said the system was set up. It kind of seems like it is. I went through the whole process, and it did give me the option to add myself as the employer and everything. So I don't know if I'm just going to get denied and then I'll resubmit, or exactly what will happen. But the EDD just keeps saying over and over, this is unprecedented amount of unemployed people. It's like the numbers are millions and millions and millions of people. It's the highest we've had since the economic crash of 2008. So they're, understaffed, overworked, and trying to figure out what the government plan even entails. So setting unemployment aside, which I promise to update when I find out more, my conference call this morning with the SBDC was specifically about SBA disaster loans, and we've talked about them, and my phone is like ringing off the hook with people that are confused about them. I'm confused about them, and that's because they are set up in a confusing way. You're not dumb, I'm not dumb, it just is confusing. So the man I talked to, named Ron, he's been doing this for years and years and years, and he says the EID loan is the normal loan that they always have for disaster relief. So he helped people apply for this loan during the economic crash, during the drought, during the campfire in paradise, and now we're doing it again because of the COVID-19 shutdowns. And from what he said, every time there's a disaster, the rules and the procedures and how they implement it changes a little bit. So he can't say for sure, here's what you need, here's what you will or won't get approved for, because they really still don't know. They're still in the beginning stages of this, but he did give me a break approved for these loans and kind of how it usually works, how it usually goes, as well as like extra information that we need. So for the EID, and his advice was to apply for both, the EID and the PPP. You might get one instead of the other, or you might get approved for both. And then if you get approved for both, you can choose which one is going to benefit your business the most based on how much they offer you and the terms. Both of them are forgivable loans to a certain extent. So for the EID, which is the normal standard disaster loan that they always have for fires and floods and tornadoes and droughts and all the things we've had in the past, they came out the gate, the government being they, came out the gate and said, just apply for this, we're going to give you $10,000 up front. And then whatever you're approved of, that $10,000 comes out of that pot, but it is not, you don't have to repay it. Well, there were too many people applied, basically, and they said they weren't prepared for that many people. Now, I don't know how the government can shut down almost our entire country and not expect that everyone's going to jump on a chance to please keep their businesses open and their bills paid. So that kind of blows my mind, but that's neither here nor there. They didn't expect that many people to apply. So now they have reverted on that. And now they're saying you're not going to get $10,000. Obviously not within 3 days of applying, because a lot of us applied 2 or 3 weeks ago. But what they're trying to offer is $1,000 per employee. So if you are a sole proprietor with no employees, the max they're going to give you up front is that $1,000. That's not super helpful. So if you've already applied, finish the application, because there still might be a bigger loan involved, just not that immediate payout. But it's obviously really disappointing for everyone. So I've had a lot of phone calls from people who are checking their account daily, waiting for that $10,000 or $15,000 to hit. It's not, I don't wait on that, because it doesn't even sound like anybody's going to get that. So just continue forward with the rest of the loan application process, and then also for the PPP. So the EID, from what he explained to me, he's seen some pretty bad situations, like say the campfire, and they immediately set up centers at the mall where people who, that's their job, is to help you apply. They would go sit there and took all the campfire people in, and they would help them apply, and all these people got rejected. And he said it's because they weren't doing the paperwork right. So the main reason that people get rejected for this type of loan is just not having all the paperwork. The one quick form you do online is just the beginning. It's not all they need. So they're going to contact you further for more information. This man's, his suggestion was to go ahead, and he sent me the rest of the paperwork that you need, and fill it out, and then have him look over it all and make sure it's done right, and then send it in. That way it doesn't take as long, and you're not getting rejected for some small thing that you didn't understand. He said it's very, very, very common to not totally understand all this. So the paperwork he sent me, the first one is, it's your schedule of liabilities. They have you write down all your creditors and what you owe, what your payments are. The other one is a tax form, so they can look at your taxes, your income that you normally have. And then this is like the real big important one. It's several pages, and what you do is you go through the last 3 years and you show monthly what you normally make. What did you make in January of 17, and so on and so on. And then this also gives you a chance to you further explain your situation. So there's a lot of special situations that they want to know and want to need. For example, us in the wedding industries, we are not just asking for the normal amount of money that we need to pay to keep our doors open, but we also have to account for things like cancellations, reschedule fees, all these different things that we may have to refund customers for certain things. we're not even sure. So that packet gives you the chance to really forecast, like, what exactly is it going to take? And they want you to look at worst case scenario. So say we're out of business for 12 months, worst case scenario, what's it going to take to keep my doors open, keep my bills paid, employees paid if that's part of your business. And it also gives you a chance, say you are a brand new business and you just purchased your business or just started it. You could have even been in the process of starting. So you haven't even bought your business license yet. You haven't filed taxes because you haven't been open a year. That's the form where you get to explain that. And he said they will take that into consideration. So say you bought your business in February or March even, you can explain all that. Like, here was my business plan and I can prove I already had it before COVID-19 shut us down. So they'll take all that into consideration and still possibly offer you a loan to even still get you started or keep you going. So I thought that was really interesting and actually encouraging that they are going to take all that extra info in consideration. And I personally like that they go back 3 years on your monthly income, because I, for one, have a very seasonal business. So if you want to look at just what I made the last month or 3 months, it's going to not give you a complete picture of what I need to survive. So I can forward you these forms if you want them so that you can get them filled out. I prefer not to do that because I think you should work with this guy. It's totally free and he knows what he's doing. It's his career. So in the info below on my video, I will link the link to the website. I just filled out an application online, and within, gosh, it was minutes, I got a message, a phone call from somebody who set up an online phone call, and that was Thursday or Friday, and the phone call was set up for today, Monday morning, and it took about an hour just because I had a ton of questions. I was asking him all the questions that you guys have been asking me just so I could be better informed. So that's all the info on the EID loan, which a lot of us applied for weeks ago and haven't heard back from. When you hear back, they're going to want this info, so you might as well get it going now. And then in the meantime, the other one, the new loan, the PPP loan, which is authorized to give you a lot more money, and it seems like the terms are a little bit easier and a lot of it won't have to be paid back. There's been a bunch of confusion with it. When they opened up to take applications, they didn't allow sole proprietors or like independent contractors to apply. We had to wait till Friday. So as of last Friday, a couple days ago, it's finally available to us. The main problem with this loan is the government gives each bank just a limited amount of money they can distribute. You have to get the money through a bank locally. So a lot of these banks immediately got overwhelmed with applications and they shut down and said, we're not taking any more applications. Like Wells Fargo was one of them, my bank. And so everybody got really upset. Like, what am I supposed to do? My bank's not even accepting applications. But then as they started going through the applications, then they realized, okay, we do still have some funds left. So they opened it back up again. So it's gotten very confusing. And the best advice I keep getting over and over, including from Ron, is that you should go through the smaller bank that you can, and they'll know. So if you go down to your local small bank, your credit union, whoever you bank through, or whatever the smaller banks in your town are, you can ask them about it, and they're going to know whether they're still taking applications. But here's the thing, because each bank has such a small amount of funds, or like a limited number, do it now. The longer you wait, the less there's going to be in the pot to take out, and the harder it will be to find a bank. So it's very similar application process, and you can go through that at the bank. They're still going to want a bunch of paperwork from you, tax, income info, all that. And then it's a very similar process meanwhile. From what Ron said, it's the same thing I've been saying. Count on it taking weeks to hear back on these things or to get money. That's why my advice is still always defer your bills, save your cash, and apply for all of this. If you get, maybe we're back to business by then, you don't need it all, but you'll still have back bills to pay, so it's really important. I did ask him, in his experience, besides not doing all the paperwork, when people do get denied for these loans, what's usually the reason? And he really did say that it is just from not having the paperwork done right. And I asked about credit scores, and he said that it changes with each disaster. It just really depends on like the situation. And it sounds like with the COVID-19 situation that we're in right now, that they're going to be a lot more lenient than in other disasters because this is on such a global scale. But he said, as a frame of reference for the Camp Fire, they went by about a 580 credit score. So anything lower than that, they had a bigger chance of being denied for the loan, and anything around there higher, they had a better chance of being approved. But that it didn't really matter, because that's where the extra paperwork comes in, where you explain your situation too. Obviously, like if you're in the middle of a bankruptcy or you're like severely behind on payments to multiple places, it's probably going to be a lot harder. I still say you apply though. Most people in small businesses aren't in that situation because we can't stay afloat if we're not paying our regular bills. But just as an example, so that is how the conference call went. It left me feeling a lot more informed. He answered every question I had, and he was so clear and easy to understand. It also left me feeling a little like less confident, just because there really is so many people applying for these and they still just don't have the setup running that smoothly. But I will say over and over and over, get in, get applied for everything you can, and then see what you get offered. Hopefully that clears up some confusion. I still think your best bet as far as applying for these loans is to contact the SBDC. Now, it's through Butte College locally, and they normally work with Glenn, Butte, and Tehama counties. However, I'm in Colusa County, and I asked him, he said all my friends in Colusa County can call, and I asked him even about my family and friends that are in Sacramento, the Bay Area. He said still call them. Basically, they get funded through grants, and they just have to show at the end of their grant period what their money did. So they'll work with you, and in the end, you can send them an email saying, thank you so much, you helped me secure this loan, it kept my business going, and then that helps keep their business, their office running through more future grants. So it doesn't really matter where you are. Just fill out the form that I'm going to link below, and you can talk to somebody on the phone, and they will decide like if they're a good fit to help you with your questions. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm doing my best to figure this all out on multiple levels so that I can help anybody that has questions. And it's just more waiting, more paperwork and waiting. Hopefully you're all keeping your spirits up. I know it's been really hard. It's every day that we are out of business, not making money is like really excruciating for a lot of people. So I'm here for you. The SBDC is really, really informative and here for you. And I think that we've got some big changes coming this week. We're going to find out either that we're going back to work soon or it's going to be a long time. So keep working on those long-term goals, and hopefully I'll talk to everyone soon.